Hello people, I just thought I'll take a moment to explain to you something about the Dyson DC40 that is a little bit more fiddly than I thought it would be to fix it. So just to give something back to to so many people who have helped me repair things, and also to be able to take a lot of the parts off from this I think it's called the Dyson Ball, but the model is DC40. I'll just quickly run through the components that I've taken off. This is the floor brush, which people probably are already familiar on how to take off, and these are the sides of the two sides of the ball. This is the other side. This one is actually the easiest to take off because you just turn it by hand. This is the one where the filter is behind it. That's why it's actually easier to take off, and here's the filter, which you should be taking out from time to time to clean. Now my one looks extra dirty because I've just rinsed it. And here is something I had to take off that is behind the filter. It's got a few screws. Now I won't go through explaining how to take all that off. Here's a clip that retains the floor brush. Again, I'm sure you'll find videos on how to take off. Now the thing I need to repair or replace is this, which is called the swivel lock. As you can see, it's actually broken in two different places. Okay, I have already replaced the new one, but I just thought I'll show you how it goes on, because taking it off is a job on its own, and also replacing it. So as you can see, here's one part and here's another part that's broken, so it's not actually staying in place. So when I did a quick search for replacement parts, I was able to find it on eSpares. I'm sure you'll find it in various other places as well. Okay, so here you can see the package that it came in. Now what else can I show you before I show you how the part goes on? That's probably it. So here's the part. I've actually already replaced it, as I said. The key thing about it is that when you put it back on, you have to actually, as you can see, there are tiny protruding parts that go into slots on the two sides. So you saw the other broken part. There's a spring here as well, just there. I'm not sure if you can see. Let me just get a torch. So just there is the spring, and that's what allows the swivel to go back in its place. And I think when you start using the head, you can see how this thing sort of stays together. Okay, so the two fiddly things about it, well, I've already told you the easy thing about the replacing this part here, which is make sure you go down straight roughly where it is before you put the spring in, and you should be able to clip on the two sides onto the holes quite easily. If you try and go from here, you'll never succeed. So that is actually something that took me a long time to figure out. The other one is this cable connector, the power cord that connects to the head over there. When you take it off, you'll see that I'm not going to take this one off because it's actually fiddly to get the cables in there a little bit on the side. I'm not sure if you can see it there, just there on the sides. But it is quite easy just to sort of lift it up and push it to the side over there, and this edge over here, which goes into this side over here, I can feel it. It's about 1 centimeter onto the side. Pick it up, turn it, bring it out, and you've got the cables running through here. Now here's the other fiddly bit that I will show you how to put on. I've already put mine on now here, but that's not the end of it, because that is not going past this area here. It has to actually fit into this slot over there. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and put the part together here so you can see how I do this. I have to move this forward away from this area here. Just going to bring out the cable again to allow a bit of movement here. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing the video, because it's not as straightforward as I thought it was when I first started on this. Okay. So once you've got this out of its slot, you should then be able to just lift up the other part and slide it across until you're able to okay, so here's the other thing you've got to do, just hold on to this as you turn this. You can see too many things, too many variables to think about here. I'm not impressed that it is this much effort to replace something that is supposed to be replaceable. Okay, so this connector has just come off, causing me a bit of grief. So that has to groove in, and because I moved this, it actually came out, so I think I've got no choice but to actually do that. Lift it up, let it go through, and then put it back after I've passed this ridiculous part to the other section. So now that it's gone over there, I now have to get this cable into the slot, make sure it's through, and have the cable connector all the way in its place. Bring out the swivel lock so that it fits into its slot. While holding this, somehow try and get this part back into its groove. And that is probably it. Not so great. Okay. Now there are two retaining screws here, which are slightly different size to the rest of them. So there are 4 here. That takes off the ball sides. And these two are slightly longer than the others. So I'm just going to put these back. As you saw just there, as I was holding it, it was more in place than it is right now. So something is probably not. Okay. Let's see what happens. I tighten this a little bit more. Okay, so that's going. I haven't over tightened that side just yet. As it's all plastic, it's important not to over tighten anywhere and try and keep it okay, just so that it touches. Hopefully that is exactly where it should be. And this is aligned, tiny gap there, and this seems to go back on the spring, and when you take it down it does flatten out. So I'm fairly happy it's where it should be. Okay, so we keep it at that. I'll try and put all the other parts back so you can see how they were taken off. Reassembly is actually a very good way of seeing how it is disassembled. The other fiddly part is this thing here, which is the left side of the ball. To take it off you have to unscrew it, but it's not really a simple thread. So you can see that after I managed to take the cover off, which I'll show you in a minute, you can use a flat something to unscrew that. In my case I just used this little plier which slotted in there perfectly, just there. I had to use this to take off the cover. Okay, so I'll just put this back on now. Let's see how it goes. Everything you take off, try and rinse them or try and clean them out. But don't rinse them if they've got metal parts, because that can cause rust. Now that's there. And you can see that you can start turning on this little plastic part that has the nut at the end of it. It seems to be going in. I'll just finish off the last bit of it, which is quite a bit actually, because it's not easy to turn using your fingers enough, but just enough to keep it straight so that you can then use something like this to turn it all the way. I do wish at this point I had something flat big enough to be able to turn this. It's going to take me a while, I think. If you can use both hands, it makes it easier. If the camera wasn't here, I'd just walk around it with my whole body. I think we're almost there. Because it's plastic again, you don't want to overdo it, so that feels just about right. Okay, now I'll try the other side. You can see I've got newspapers all around here. Do get a lot of dust now. Okay, so let me just show you the cover that goes onto this side. It's just a plastic clip like this, and you can see that it's got slots but you should be able to just turn back into place. And to take it off, just use something like this to get into the holes and just unwind anti-clockwise just enough so that it comes off. Now I'm just going to find the right areas to put this back in, and that seems to be it. Just turn it. There it is. It's just a simple clockwise turn to put it back in place. Okay, so that's one side done. Let's put back the other side. First thing is the cover behind the filter that I had to take off, which goes in just there. 4 screws, all the same size, using the same size star key. This is all star key, otherwise known as hex, I think. Just put them all in their places first. Because it's nicely placed already, I don't need to wait to tighten them enough by moving from one to the other. You can just do them all because it's all in its place. Again, don't over tighten, just enough so that the head is touching the plastic. Alright, so that's that. This looks a little bit offset, but it's actually where it was. It's not straight, it's actually tilted to one side. Right, I really don't want to put this back on now because, as I said, I've rinsed it earlier. As you can see, it's quite black. You may be able to replace it, but I don't think you need to replace this one too often. There are other filters elsewhere that you do need to replace. So I'll just leave it at this for now, but you can see that was the key thing there on this side. You should be able to put this one back on once everything else, and that's the only other fiddly bit, which has this retaining clip, and it does go into slots. So once you manage to figure out how to take it out from one side, from the grooves, you can just pull it out from both sides and it should come out. I won't do that right now, but I think that's pretty much it. You've seen the main thing, which is how to replace the swivel lock, which is that it broke. It's been in the family for about 5-6 years now, so that's it. Hope that helps you.